Hi guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe's Chop Shop. Today, this episode is going to be a bit different. Everything's happened over a course of about a week, so I've got all the right times and dates, and you'll just have to stick with me a bit. There's a few different things. So you start off with, we've got my mate Luke and his company Flat Top Towing. He's moved the crown for me from my mum's house to my new house. So next up is me failing with the A-frame. The gantry crane just couldn't get it to happen. I didn't really expect to, but got to give these things a go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jefe's Chop Shop. I'm Jeff, and today we're going to try and stand up the A-frame. So as you can see, the crown's home. Haven't done a whole lot with it yet, but I've got this A-frame that I need to stand up so I can get the crown in the shed. So as you can see, the A-frame is directly in front of the shed, and the crown needs to go in the left-hand side, so this is right in the way. So the plan is, use the engine crane to lift it as high as I can, and then I've got the winch run out from the Ranger over and around the top bar. So hopefully I can get this to a height that's good enough to then pull with the Ranger and stand it up. I've no idea if this will work, but it's worth a shot. So I've gotten the A-frame lifted up with the engine crane. The spacer I made in the last episode is starting to bend, which is not surprising. So this frame probably weighs about 250 to 300 kilos. So I've got the winch hooked up to the Ranger. It's not pulled too tight just yet, but I'm going to see if this will lift up. The crane has got a fair bit of flex that way, so the legs and the whole I-beam is flexing, which is also not heaps surprising, but not what we wanted. So we'll just see how this goes. That's not going to work. So I've tied off the legs to try and stop the crane from sliding towards me. Hopefully this goes a little bit better. Just looks like I'm going to fall over, which will not surprise me, but it would be a bad time. It's just pulling it way too hard to the side. So bad idea number 10, going off of the winch, off the I-beam with the winch to a chain on a D-shackle which is attached to the chassis, and then hard right to the front of the Ranger. So hopefully this will pull straighter and want this to lift up instead of pull over. We'll see. So that one didn't work because the chassis wants to move backwards. The angle seems about right, but the chassis wants to roll backwards, so the chain is getting pulled and it's all moving back up towards the crane. So we'll try something else. So all of my horrible ideas haven't worked. So I'm going to have to wait till I get the crane truck to deliver the Dodge cab, and I'll get him to stand this up as well. So I'm just going to move it out of the way so I can try and get the crown into the shed. So I've got a jack under either of the two A-frames, and then the engine crane on the I-beam still, and using the Ranger to pull the whole lot towards the gate. And then I'll try and get the crown around, and then when the truck comes to drop the Dodge cab off, I'll get him to stand this up, and then we can move it out of the way and drop the cab off. Then a mate Dale called me and asked to come and hang out and help him pull the LS1 out of his Tirana. So it's an LX Tirana, which is I think mid-70s Holden, Australian only. We'll do another video on this later, but he was in a bit of a hurry. He's got a event to go to for burnouts, so he's going to do that soon. The engine was sort of a bit hurt, it's a fresh rebuild, but there was a few issues, so he's pulled it out and going to get it fixed up. So next one, this is an exciting one, emergency road trip. Some path came up on Facebook and I messaged the guy, didn't get a reply until 5:30, and then I left 2.5 hours later on a 1900 kilometre road trip. So a couple of hours ago, I got in contact with a guy that has a dually diff for the C30. So he has the dually diff, a set of 5 Eagle, American Eagle, something like that, racing wheels. They're the same as the Alcoas that I got, just not the same brand. And a pair of rear guards for a C3500, which is reasonably the same truck, for $2,000. So I've rung a few mates that are in Melbourne themselves and managed to sell the wheels and the guards to them, and I'm going to get the diff for much less than that. So we're going to drive from Adelaide to Shepparton shortly, and then in the morning we need to meet him at about 8 o'clock. Then we'll head from Shepparton to Melbourne itself, which is about a 3-hour drive, 2.5, 3 hours, and then back to Adelaide. So all up, it's about 1,800, 1,900 kilometres. And my mate Tim's coming with me, Emily's coming with me, so we're going to head off shortly. And we've got about 12 hours from now until we need to meet with the guy. It's about an 8-hour trip, so we've got plenty of time for stops and things like that. So I'll update you as we go. So we're in the Ranger. It's 5 to 8, and we're about to leave home. We've got the trailer on the back, and we're going to pick up Tim, and then we're on our way. First pit stop, it's 10:20 and we've done about 150 k's. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we're in a town called Donald and it's super foggy. It's pretty eerie. Tim's over there dancing. Emily's getting some money out. But it's been super foggy, so it's been hard to concentrate and there's been not much vision. But this gives you an idea of the middle of Australia somewhere. So while I was driving to Donald, it's 505 k's, I almost hit 2 small kangaroos at the same time. They came out from the right and they both missed me by about a foot. I jammed the brakes on and just came short of him, so that was good. So Tim's taken over the driving after leaving Donald, which is 505 kilometres from home. So we took a wrong turn and we ended up down a back road, and about 10 minutes into it we hit a kangaroo. He's run over here, run from the right and gone left, and he was pretty low, so hasn't done any damage to the car, and he doesn't seem to be anywhere around. Bit of excitement for the night though. Back to it. So this road's turned to mud. We've had to stop and put the car in 4 low and just try and crawl through it. The car's just fishtailing everywhere and we can't get out of these grooves you can see. It is a bit sketchy at 3 in the morning. You can see Tim's actually turned left a fair bit right now, and we're going straight. And the back's swinging around. It's full slow drifting. This is ridiculous. How fast are we going, Tim?
The wheels are doing 10.
10?
Yeah,
So straight?
Yeah.
straight. Yep.
You're like 300 metres left, yeah?
This is pretty, it's not bad now.
Continue on Selleck Road for 3 kilometres.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to stop and put it in.
Yeah.
So it's 5:45 on Monday morning, and we've done 680 k's from home. We're in a place called Echuca, and as you can see, that mud we were in got absolutely everywhere. That was super sketchy, and we are really lucky to not get bogged. You can see it's all up the side of the car. Absolutely everywhere. That's alright, this will get a bath when we get back. And we almost ran out of fuel. We had 20 k's still empty when we pulled into the servo. So it's 7:20 in the morning. We've just stopped at this place that I can't pronounce, and range is going well. Had that little mishap with the mud that I told you about. You can see that a bit better now. There's a bit of light, but everything's covered in mud. But that's the fun of it. So we're almost ready to pick up the diff. I just got to wait until about 10 to 8, and we'll go around to this bloke's house, load all the parts up, and then we're off to a mate's place and then to Melbourne. So packing the parts went quite well. This is where I decided to get a nap in the back of the car. So Tim took over the driving and drove us to Melbourne. Then we stopped at my mate Mark's workshop. I don't get to see him very often, so it was good to pop in and hang out for about 45 minutes. Then we drove for about an hour across Melbourne and delivered some parts. So I sold the wheels and the guards to a guy called Dale. I bought my Alcoas off of him a few weeks ago, but he was kind enough to buy these off me. I think he's already resold them, which is fair enough. That was the whole plan. I got rid of the guards to one of his mates, and he bought the wheels, so it worked out well for me. Then from his shop, we went to a place called Dandenong and picked up some front hubs for the dual wheel conversion. So they are the big 4 5-inch ones that I showed in the last video, or one of the last videos. So we picked those up, and then we went straight home from there. So Tim drove from Dandenong to Horsham, which is quite a trek. I had a snooze in the back for 3 or 4 hours, which was good. So then I drove from Horsham to Keith, and just outside of Keith, this happened. So we're about 220 k's from Tim's house, and someone behind us was flashing, and we have completely lost our tyre, shredded it, and run it on the rim. So this happened about 20 k's ago, and we just hazard lights on, pull over to the left, drove about 20 k's with it like this. So I'm going to just come back and grab it tomorrow. So I'm just going to park the trailer over there, hope no one steals it, and come back tomorrow. But you couldn't even tell that this was happening. The Ranger drove exactly the same. The trailer didn't sway or anything. Couldn't even tell. It was exactly the same. We didn't really need any more curveballs, but we're just going to ditch it and come back tomorrow. So goodbye expensive diff, goodbye trailer. Please be here when I get back. So once we dropped the trailer off, we carried on home to Tim's house and had no issues. So it's midnight. Just got back to Tim's house, dropped him off. Got no trailer. Got an hour left to go home and go to bed. Get about 4 hours sleep and then go to work. And then drive back 200 k's to Keith and pick up the trailer. It's going to be another long day tomorrow. But between Tim's house and my house, I almost hit another kangaroo. So that was 4 for the trip. Not to mention the 3 or 4 rabbits, and the owl, and a few rodents. So it's 1 in the morning. Just go home. It's time for bed. We've done about 1900 k's. But I'll update you tomorrow because I'm going to add about another 400 when we go back. When we go back to get the trailer. So it's lunchtime at work. I've snipped out to U-Pull-It. Just grabbed 2 tyres with my mate Tyson. 2 tyres on rims, 70 bucks. Bit of a rip-off, but gets us out of a jam. Alright, so it's Tuesday, it's 4:15. I've convinced Tyson from work to come with me to Keith. So I just rang the roadhouse, the trailer is still there. And we're going to go pick it up. We've got about 250 k's to go there and then swap the wheels over and then come back. So it's going to be a long night. Should hopefully be home around 11, but we'll see. So we're just waiting for Tyson to feed his dog and then we'll be on our way. And I'll keep you updated. We've made it back to the trailer. Looks like it's all still here. Diff's there, other hub, looking good. Tyre is munted. So we'll just get this changed over, hopefully hook it up, get some food and go back home. So we've got the tyre off, or the rim off, sorry. Gone to put the tyre on and it looks like the axle's shifted across. So the tyre hasn't rubbed the inside of the guard. So we think once the tyre's blown, the trailer's been on an angle and the rim has been obviously riding on the rim. The trailer's like vibrated down the axle. So we're gonna have to jack it back up, try and move the axle over about an inch or so, and then bolt it all back up again and tow it home. This is what 25 k's on the rim looks like. Not as bad as you'd expect. So we got a spare, and we got 2 pumped up tyres. I'm gonna put a little bit more in them, just check, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so we're back up and running, got the trailer on the back. We've so far done 2,200 kilometres for this trip. We're just gonna get home, so fingers crossed there's no more issues. Finally home. It's 11:30 on Tuesday night. Did about 2,500 k's. Finally home. Go to bed, and then I'll update you with the mileage and stuff tomorrow. Alright, so some road trip specs. I spent $443.46 on fuel, which was 302 litres 33. I paid $2,000 for the diff, the wheels and the guards. I then drove to Dale and sold the wheels and the guards to him for $1,400. I then drove to Dandenong and bought the front hubs I was talking about for $427.50. Then on the return trip to Keith to pick up the trailer, I had to buy the wheels from U-Pull-It, which was $70 for the 2. And all up, we spent 29 hours in the car for the first trip, 7 hours in the car for the second trip, and a total of 2,430 kilometres. So that brings us to a total cost of $1,540.96, which is $60 cheaper than I could find any other diff. So we got the front hubs, brand new, the diff, and the road trip for $60 less than I was going to pay for an entire diff. So I hope this came across as fun as it was. The road trip was a big mission. It was 29 hours without much sleep and very uncomfortable. It was good fun. Wouldn't have done it with anyone else. It was good fun with Emily and Tim. So I hope it was as good for you guys to watch it as it was for us to enjoy it. At least it only took you about 15 minutes to get through it, and it took us 29 hours. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Said he needed a hand. Well, he wanted blah, 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 blah. Beep, beep. Yeah, please. I'm still recording. So, emergency road trip. We're going to drive all over the place because we're idiots, yeah. It.
Yeah.
It. You right. Yeah. I'm still recording.
Missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna suck to edit, Emily.
What?
Me being. Then we stopped at a friend Mark's house. That's not what we did. Thanks. So then we stopped at a place and did a thing. Then we stopped at a mate Mark's workshop. He has a. So then we stopped at a mate Mark's house workshop.
You speak in too many alliterations. You can't say the words because you've got mate Mark.
Then
Mate Mark.
shush. We can. A mate Mark's freaking workshop with our next stop. Hi, kids. How the are ya? Woohoo! I'm just gonna put that in there. Shh. Then we stopped at my mate Mark's workshop. Go away. Then we. You good?
Yeah.
Then we stopped at my mate's. Then off. Then we. Then we. Then we stopped at my mate Mark's Wicked Workshop. That's not what I wanted to say. Damn it, Emily.
Yeah.
That's not family friendly. Not to mention the what?
Really?
Yeah,
I was asleep.
yeah. So that brings us to a total tossed. Is that the right word?
What?
Conveyed. I conveyed that in the video.
What were you trying to say?
That I hope I demonstrated that it was fun.